So CPAC has canceled one of the people that they were gonna bring in to speak. It is believed to be this individual, Young Pharaoh, who's gonna speak there and has been removed from CPAC. So who is Young Pharaoh? It's an online commentator who has told followers that Judaism is a complete lie and made up for political gain, like the whole religion is made up. He said that Jewish people are thieving fake Jews, tweeted that all the censorship and pedophilia on social media is being done by Israeli Jews, and claimed that all of these big tech companies, media, and social media platforms are controlled by the CCP and Israel through Jewish CEOs and corrupt Democrats. And so to give you an example of some of the individual things. Now, in CPAC's defense, it would have been hard for them to track this stuff down because they would have had to go to his Twitter account, which they linked to on their page, for tweets like this, in all caps. And from what I've seen, all of his tweets are in all caps. There is no historical or scientific evidence proving the existence of Jews or Judaism. It's a complete lie. Go get the best Jewish scholar you can find and I'll expose religion as being completely made up for political gain. So that's something. He's also attacked Ben Shapiro for being Jewish, or I guess being fake Jewish, since apparently it's not a real thing. Tweeting, Ben Shapiro, heard you're a Jew. You man enough to take this debate and get destroyed. He's also, of course, promoted QAnon and Pizzagate. He said that coronavirus vaccines will alter your DNA. Just whatever conspiracy theory you want, there's a good chance this guy has tweeted in all caps about it. So, Aida, what do you think? Did they go too far? Should they have given this guy a chance?
You know what's funny is that the right has been very anti-Semitic. This is, when they pick and choose. I mean, Donald Trump has been anti-Semitic, and people always say, well, his son-in-law, but he has been anti-Semitic. You could be married to someone that's Jewish or black and be anti-Semitic or racist, anti-black. I don't understand where these people stand at some points, because it's very interesting to me that they teeter back and forth between what type of racism is cool with them. So I just think it's interesting. I mean, this person obviously sounds they sound unstable. Like it just sounds like a whole bunch of stuff that, rooted in hate. But it just seems that's what happens when people get radicalized, right? These are the outcomes when you continuously feed the subconscious mind messaging that is anti a group of people, and it manifests in different ways. So just like those people with that, with the flag that was at the Capitol, the terrorists that were at the Capitol, that were with the what do you call it, the Confederate flag. They certain beliefs, right? And so then they want to back away from the people that they have radicalized. They're like, oh no, you took it too far. Well, what is the messaging that you're sending? What are you saying? Why do you think Asian people are getting beat up? Why do you think people are pushing back on Black Lives Matter, saying Black Lives Matter is a terrorist communist organization? Why do you think people are, saying anti-Semitic stuff? Why do you think that is? Because your messaging is about it is always attacking anybody who is not white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant. That's it. And that's where it comes from. So now you're surprised when it takes life in all these other directions. That's what you set the foundation for that. Why are you criticizing the plant from growing? Why? You sprinkle all the fertilizer in the last 4 years on all this stuff, and now you're surprised that these are the fruits. These are the fruits of the trees that you've laid down. And my analogy may not be great, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're surprised that this guy is crazy? Like what? First of all, why were you bringing him in the first place? Like usually what happens is we take this person, we find out, at one point they said something. But that's this guy's Twitter account. That's just all it is these things. So when you say on the website, CPAC says he's a philosopher, scholar, musician, and links to his Twitter account. They also link to his website, which features his videos spreading conspiracy theories about vaccines and the New World Order. So what was the thing that made you like him for this to then make you not like him?
I got it.
What's that?
I'll tell you what it is. He went too far, right? When he made the anti-Semitic, he's black, right? And so they always want to get black people who support their talking points. They didn't do the research. They were like, oh, he supports this. He supports this. This is part of our program. Nobody did a deep dive into what Young Pharaoh was talking about, because Young Pharaoh's been talking about this stuff for a while. He didn't just start talking about this in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
So they thought, look, we got a black person. We got a black one. We got a black one here. So this black one is with our program. They do that with all of the minorities. That when they're being accused of being racist, they always push the minorities who support their agenda to the front line. They always do that. So they thought that this dude, they didn't realize nobody did a deep dive. You know why? Because these people don't read and they don't do research. Here you go.
That's true. That's true. I might disagree slightly.
Okay.
I think there's a very good chance that what you described is what's actually happening. But I think there's a chance that they just didn't think anyone would point it out. And that it was only when people started to be like, hey, this guy's absolutely insane. They're like, okay, fine, we're canceling. But like.
So you thought they were okay with all that stuff he was saying?
Every conspiracy theory is like, it's like fondant on a cake. You don't know what's under that cake. It might be nothing. It could be beef, you don't know. That's the conspiracy theory. But what's under the conspiracy theory? Every conspiracy theory is anti-Semitism at the end of the day. Maybe it's 2 layers of fondant. Maybe it's like Bill Gates is putting the vaccine in your blood, and that's to track your location, and that's so that he can then sell something, and then it's the Jews. It's always the Jews at the end of the day. That's how every conspiracy theory works. And so you don't get to be shocked that when you bring in conspiracy theorists, they turn out to be anti-Semites. That's what it is. And the thing is, they're not canceling him because he's spreading conspiracy theories. And by the way, when I say every conspiracy theory, I mean it. He's posted videos about Hillary Clinton ripping the faces off of babies and eating their faces after raping them. Black people have alien DNA, George Floyd conspiracy theories, everything. But that isn't the issue, because their whole roster is election conspiracy theories and stuff about that. He just kind of went too far with the anti-Semitic stuff, and maybe especially the specifically attacking Ben Shapiro thing, because then it becomes a thing where Ben Shapiro will be attacking him. And honestly, I think CPAC cares a lot more about a right winger like Ben Shapiro criticizing them than a whole bunch of leftists who were never going to go to CPAC anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you have a point there. I agree. I think all of that. And there's no, you've seen it with them, Diamond and Silk, the sheriff, the lunatic sheriff. It's always the twins, Herschel Walker's son. And it's so funny because these people can be so toxic. They're anti-gay, they're anti-trans, they're anti-black, they're anti-immigration and immigrants. They're anti-everyone until those people speak their talking points, and then they welcome them, and then they create these groups, gays for Trump, Latinx for Trump. But it's so funny because those of us from the community, we see this and we know what it is, because they need people who look like us to justify what they do to us by to say the things that they want them to say, and that it's gross.
Yeah, there's nothing a racist wants more than a black person to say that racism is right. There's nothing a misogynist wants more than for a woman to tell them that women are awful. And you can make a lot of money doing that. Anyway, by the way, as you pointed out, there was Gays for Trump as an organization. But also, it wasn't that long ago in our comments, I don't know if it was Bart that put it down or if it was Edwin, but CPAC disinvited the log cabin Republicans back in 2015. Because sure, they're conservatives and Republicans, and they agree with Republicans on everything, except they're also gay, so you're canceled. That's basically what happened.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.